Hello there, my name is Ted Mokantine, and this is my second video in my series Opening Play. In the last video, we talked about the three opening principles, which are control the center, specifically the 8 highlighted squares here, get your minor pieces out, which are the knights and the bishops, and get the king to safety in his castle, which, as you can see, black has already done by getting the king behind the pawns and protected. Today we're going to go over just a few more details in the opening that are not necessarily opening principles, but are tips to make sure that your position is better. The first tip is don't move pieces twice in the opening without reason. For instance, this knight on f3 has already moved. Why would we want to move him to a different square, such as g5, just to attack this pawn? With the knight here now on g5, it does attack the pawn, but he just gets kicked away right away and has to move back. And we didn't accomplish anything. And now it's black's turn. Versus if we would have not moved the knight there and castled instead, now we've castled and we are still up a tempo. Because of the huge time waster of moving pieces twice in the opening, we want to limit the number of times that we move a piece twice. If we move a piece once to a good square, then there's no reason to move it to a second square until all of our pieces have been fully developed. It is fine to eventually move the knight away from this f3 square if it would be better on a different square. But first, we have to get our king to safety, and we need to get our bishop out. In this position, our dark square bishop is not all that good because it is being blocked in by the pawns. If we want to do something with it, we're going to have to either move a pawn, either the b pawn here or the e3 pawn here, or we're just going to have to be satisfied with keeping it on either c1 or d2. In this position, it's probably better off on d2 or b2 than it would be on c1, so I'm going to move it to d2. Next opening principle is do not move pawns without reason. In this position, black has to get his knight and his bishop out yet. He doesn't have time to waste by just moving forward random pawns for no good reason. If he's going to waste time, he should get his pieces out first. Before moving pawns, you need to remember to get all of your pieces out and get them in all good positions. The last thing you want to remember is to keep your rooks behind your pawns. For instance, in this position, white has his rooks both on f1 and on a1. They are eventually going to move over to support the e1 square and maybe the c1 or d1 square. You're going to support these center pawns here and protect them from attack. And then, as soon as the pawns are traded off, the rooks will then swoop down and attack from the sides. However, if the rook moves forward up here like this onto the a6 square and then moves over, it is not nearly as effective because of the fact that the rook has a chance of getting trapped and you may end up losing your rook. Because of this, it is a lot better to move your rooks behind your pawns and to let them support them like this. Now, we are threatening to move upward to this e4 square here, threatening to eventually play e4 and take complete control over the center. If you remember these simple rules along with the opening principles, your chess play will greatly increase. Thanks for watching.